By now, we all know how mission critical our nightly journey into unconsciousness is. It's where we ramp up tissue repair, secrete growth hormones, strengthen immunity, build muscle, consolidate memories, overcome trauma, clean the brain, and that's just the tip of the biological iceberg. Making anything we do to improve the quality and efficiency of our 7 to 8 hours in dreamland a pretty good investment. So, I asked AI how we can do just that. Actually, 2 separate generative AI platforms. Let's see if they know how to sleep. Yo, what is up? Welcome back to another week of How to Health. My name is Kevin. I run liftandbalance.com, where we take aim at all things health and longevity and do it in an odd, weird, interesting, and highly sarcastic way. Today, we are embarking into the mind of the machine and asking it how to optimize something that it neither does or needs: sleep. But because it's been trained on much more data than a single human mind can even come close to comprehending, I figured we ask and test it on its sleep skills, challenging its generative intelligence on devising the perfect sleep routine. And of course, see how close it comes to the routines and protocols we've been discussing for years on the How to Sleep playlist, my routine of which you can see here and linked in the description below. With that, how did we go about testing these sleep bots? Well, I prompted 2 of the most popular conversational AI platforms on the market, ChatGPT from OpenAI and Bard from Google, to see how they answered the task of outlining the ideal sleep routine if I want to be asleep by 10 p.m. each night. Pretty straightforward, right? Let's see what they came up with. First, we have ChatGPT. And after asking it for an hour-by-hour breakdown, here's what it gave me. First, to start my wind down at around 7 p.m., giving me a good solid 3 hours, which seems like a lot. So let's see what this wind down entails. First, it calls out reducing exposure to screens and putting away electronic devices such as phones, computers, and TVs, inadvertently making this wind down feel like 12 hours, and instead engaging in some relaxing activities like reading a book. Okay, not bad. What's next? Then it suggests a light dinner or snack, highlighting not to go too heavy. And at 8 p.m., we prep for bed, getting into our pajamas. Very important. Dimming the lights in the area to signal to the body that it's nearing bedtime. This, as we know, is because light is a major modulator of our body clock. And when it's absent, the body begins to really upregulate the master sleep hormone, melatonin. Next, it tells me to just relax and unwind. Stop being so uptight, suggesting some stretching, journaling, or some breathing exercises. Mentally preparing for sleep. And at 9 p.m., the official bedtime routines begins. A lot of bedtime routines here. Doing all the personal care stuff, washing your face, brushing your teeth, and all that jazz, and setting up the all-important sleep environment, making sure the room is dark, quiet, and at a comfortable temperature. All good call-outs. And finally, at 9:30, final prep. Spending the last half hour before bed engaging in very calming and relaxing activities to signal the body it is time for rest, while avoiding all those nefarious stimulating activities. You know what I'm talking about. Not gonna lie, pretty vague, but okay. And at 10 p.m., bam, lights out. And that right there is what ChatGPT had to say. Not a bad start. Let's see what Bard thinks. It decided to start at 8 p.m. with a more bulleted approach, suggesting dimming the lights and winding down electronic usage. Good and good. Having a light, healthy snack, something that I can personally do without, but everyone's different. Then moving into some relaxing activities. A warm bath, reading, common music, or meditation. All pretty solid for some good chillaxing. Finally, at 9 p.m., we prep for bed, doing our personal care stuff, light stretches, deep breathing, writing down our worries and to-dos, and or doing some reading. Calling out to use a dim light or blue light filter if you're using electronics. And a few minutes before 10, lights out. because it's night-night. Bard also took the liberty to provide a few additional tips, like stating consistency is key and to keep to the same schedule even on the weekends, which is straight up huge for body clock alignment. Then it talks about creating a sleep haven, cool, dark, quiet bedroom with comfortable bedding. Another good one, limiting stimulants, specifically caffeine in the afternoon and alcohol in the evening. Damn, Bard's batting 1,000 here. And it proceeds to also call out managing stress, getting sunlight exposure during the day, exercising but not too late, avoiding digital screens around an hour before bed, and taking a slow and methodical approach in implementing this change. And I only got one question. Hey Bard, you watching my How to Sleep playlist or what? It even threw in a few bonus tips, such as the benefits of aromatherapy, white noise, and progressive muscle relaxation, which I now need to look up to see what the hell it is. I gotta say, I'm a little impressed. And if I were to rank the two on their response, I'd have to say Bard did a better job simply because of these solid additional tips. However, both perform relatively well, making me think that my question was a little too easy. So I asked them to step it up a notch and outline the ideal routine starting at lunchtime, or specifically 12 p.m. Let's see if they were up for the challenge. First, ChatGPT. And it starts off by suggesting a balanced, nutritious lunch with a mix of protein, healthy fats, carbohydrates, and vegetables. Good start. It also calls out to avoid heavy and over-spicy foods that can cause discomfort later in the day, which, could be helpful, but also differs person to person. Next, a post-lunch activity. Getting a big thumbs up from me for suggesting a light digestion walk before going back to work. Then it takes us to afternoon tasks, making a call to focus on less demanding or creative tasks to avoid excessive mental strain leading into the evening. To which I'd say, if most of us had an option to choose, that'd be great, because we know the low dose arousal of the fight or flight response is a sleep killer. It also reminds us to take another movement break. Thumbs up to that. Then at 4 p.m. we begin prep for the evening, winding down the work tasks and entering a more relaxing state, with the overall goal of reducing stress, something that we could probably all do a little better. At 5 p.m. it suggests an early dinner, which I love, a little circadian eating, and at 6 p.m. evening activities begin, suggesting leisure and family time before taking us through the same nighttime routine from before. All in all, pretty good additions, if you ask me. Now let's see how Bard tackled the task. And look at this intro. Craving a full night's sleep by 10 p.m.? This detailed routine, starting from your midday meal, can help you achieve that blissful slumber. Remember, consistency is key, so try your best to stick to this schedule as much as possible. I mean, come on, talk about a pump up. I didn't even prompt it to be our motivational coach. Let's see if the actual routine matches the energy. It starts with lunchtime fuel, suggesting eating real whole foods while calling out that excess ultra-processed foods are a recipe for an afternoon crash. Then it brings out the biggest secret in the sleep optimization world, recommending getting outside for some sunlight, aka circadian alignment, which is awesome, and the first time either AI platform suggested it. That being said, I don't think most people have a 2-hour window every afternoon to bask in the sun. It does make a save, however, by combining it with some intense focus time, which we could consider work, reminding us for the sake of God not to get distracted by those silly emails when we're in the zone. Next, from 3 to 5 p.m., it suggests we keep on hydrating and get a little movement, something that all of us can probably do a little more of. And finally, a wind down into the same routine it suggested before. But look here, we got some more bonus tips. This time calling out a new one of avoiding caffeine later in the day, which is important for a number of different reasons, all of which we break down on the How to Sleep playlist. All in all, pretty good. But I think we need a little more. So I went ahead and asked Bolt to give the ideal sleep routine from the moment we get up. Because as I've been arguing for years, getting good sleep each night starts the second we get up. Let's see what ChatGPT had to say here. And it starts with a pretty confident, certainly, to which I'll say, will be the judge of that. First it says, wake up and hydrate. All right, that's a big thumbs up right off the bat, because we do lose water as we exhalate, perspirate, and urinate through the night. Pro tip, remember to get out of bed for that last one. Then it suggests movement, which you know I love for its lymphatic stimulating, nervous system awakening, blood flowing effects. Moving on to breakfast, it suggests a healthy balance of real whole foods, again, of course. Then to leverage that fresh morning brain to complete some critical tasks, while not forgetting to squeeze in a mid-morning movement break, and then re-engaging in those critical tasks until lunch, where it then walks through the same lunch and evening routines it suggested before, highlighting in its closing notes that it is all about consistency, which I agree with 100%. And overall, I really liked a lot of parts of this, especially the first combo of hydration and movement. That being said, it did miss a pretty standard sleep hack, and that is getting your morning sunlight, while also not touching on any strategies around stimulants like caffeine. So definitely room for improvement. Let's see how Bard tackles this challenge. And wouldn't you know it, another hype up intro. This one stating, drifting off peacefully by 10 p.m. might seem like a distant dream, but with a consistent and mindful routine, it's absolutely achievable. You're damn right it's achievable, Bard. Let's go. Sorry, pumping me up. And Bard continues with that momentum with a bang right off the bat, calling out to open those blinds right away and align those circadian rhythms with sunlight. Also adding to reach for some water before coffee. And right after that, to move your body. You just love to see it. I mean, Bard is straight up preaching to the circadian gods here. However, I do need to note that direct sunlight is much better for circadian alignment than window sunlight. Moving on, it then suggests to fuel up wisely within an hour of waking up, which I don't necessarily agree with, but it is definitely a person-to-person preference. And after making a few breakfast suggestions, it sends us off into productivity time, highlighting that this is a peak time for cognitive performance and function, which I agree with, as long as you're well rested. This can also vary based on chronotype, which is an individual's biological preference for being an early bird or a night owl. Next, in case you forgot, it reminds us to stay hydrated. Then we move to lunch and much of the same in the previous afternoon and evening routines. And for some reason, no bonus tips this time. Bard leaving us hanging. I guess at this point it used them all. All in all, I'm not gonna lie, not a bad performance by AI here. I personally would side a little more with Bard if I had to pick a favorite, but both covered many of the key daily rituals for better sleep. Likely because it's just interpreting, organizing, and regurgitating information that we humans already wrote. But still, pretty damn impressive for a bunch of machines that never sleep. And if you want to see a non-AI sleep routine starting from the very moment you get up, check out the aforementioned video linked in the show notes below, which highlights my soup to nut strategy along with the all-important context of why each habit matters at the biological level. Because when it comes to our daily mood, feel, cognition, and physical function, sleep can simply not be slept on. And you have the power through your everyday habits, routines, and rituals to modulate your way to a more optimized night's rest, and thus a more optimized you. So what are you waiting for? Grab the pillow by the horns and faceplant already. Bard, may have told me to say that. What? It's the hype up master.